Yay, I think it's working.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was having computer issues. It was half an hour to get it all worked out.
Yay. My computer's still now my iPad's acting funny. Okay.
Okay, I think we can start. We need to take roll.
Yes, just give me 1 second on.
Sure.
I start this thing a half an hour early because I usually can fix any problems within the first 15 minutes, but it was a little more complicated today. Okay, I'm ready for roll. Esparza?
Here.
Arenas? Dieppe?
Present.
Perales?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Tanish?
You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, turning to the agenda, looks like there's nothing under review of work plan. And consent calendar, there are a couple of items.
I'll move approval. Second.
Thank you. Looks like there are no members of the public that want to speak on that. Oh, there's one member who wants to speak on that. Blair? I don't know who's running the unmute.
I've clicked allow to talk. Yeah.
Found the unmute button. Hi, thank you. Thank you for the meeting today. Yeah, I guess this is about CEQA stuff. And I guess I wanted to politely, it also has the clean energy community things. Boy, thank you. I'm glad I made it onto the public comment today. As always, issues of what will be our energy for next year are coming up now. I've been trying to make speeches about nuclear and learning how to just talk in public about nuclear and what can be our future with it, and that we actually can have choices how to distance ourselves from it and learn how to practice how to rely more and more on renewables. And it takes work. I mean, it's really easy to think and say, but to actually do it, it needs to be reminded of, and I'm trying my best to do that. Thanks for your patience with that. I hope you will be considering that. How do we distance ourselves with nuclear, with community energy? And thank you in all the efforts of the Community Energy Board. You'll be deciding the Community Energy Board. The previous incarnations I felt were great, and they were really nice people. And it was a good learning experience, which is the most important. How can it be accessible and a good community experience to bounce ideas off of and just be able to think and all that good stuff. So thank you. The other idea was about CEQA air monitoring issues, I believe, that actually had some air monitoring stuff. I'll just speak about CEQA really quick. I guess I should have about 30 seconds left. Thank you for your time. Quickly, I hope the CEQA process can really be respected. I hope it's not just cut out of and laughed at and tried to be skimped from. There can be really good stuff with it. It's been really frustrating that's happened, and hope you can work on being open with it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can we have the roll for the consent calendar, please?
Esparza?
Yes.
Arenas? Yep.
Aye.
Alice?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, that motion carries, and we'll move on to reports to committee. Item D1 is the Vision Zero update. John Risto.
Thank you, council member and committee. John Risto, Director of Transportation. We're going to provide an update on the Vision Zero plan. Just want to introduce our panelists today. Deputy Chief Randall, I think, is going to be joining us. I don't see her yet, but Lieutenant Anaya is here. Deputy Director of DOT Lily Limpsow, Jesse Mintz-Roth, our Vision Zero Program Manager, and Vu Dao, our Senior Transportation Engineer. So it's been about 6 months since we approved our 2020 Vision Zero Action Plan, and thank you very much for that. We're here to give a council progress update. The downside of this is even though we have slower or lower traffic volumes, we're still having similar levels of traffic crashes and fatalities. So that is where we're going to be putting our emphasis on trying to get control of those. I'll give you an update on the 6 priority action areas, including our first Vision Zero Quick Build projects and the formation and the Vision Zero Task Force, which was really successful. So unless there is anything you want to ask of me, I'm going to turn it right over to Jesse and get into the presentation.
Go for it.
Jesse, take it away.
Can everyone see my screen? First question.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. Oh, that is a little weird. I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can make that go away. Wow. Okay, I think that's right. Hopefully I'm just going to go with it because I'm not really sure what that is. Well, thank you. I'm Jesse Mensroth. I'm the Vision Zero Program Manager, and I'm going to give this update today. Joining me is Lieutenant Dave Anaya from the Police Department, and of course, we just had our introduction from Director of DOT, John Risto. So beginning with traffic fatalities, many of you have seen this slide before, and this shows that over the last 10 years that traffic fatalities in San Jose have doubled from 29 in 2010 and also 2012 to about, well, 260 in both 2015 and 2019. We are looking now also at the traffic fatality trend at the point when the year is not complete. So you can see here that in 2020, on a month-by-month basis, you can watch the number go up cumulatively compared to the 5-year range of the 5 previous complete data years. So this shows up to the end of September 2020, at which point there were 37 traffic fatalities. There are currently, I believe, 41 if you go into the current date. 2020 traffic fatalities compared to recent trends. These are some of the areas where we're higher than usual. There are more fatalities this year on the Vision Zero priority safety corridors, 54% as of this reporting date, compared to usually about high 30s or 40%. Typically, speeding is our highest cause of our top known factor contributing to fatal and severe injuries. But this year, the percentage is higher at 46%. An area that was brought to us by the police department that we want to mention is that a lot of them involve solo male drivers. Very unusual are bike-on-bike fatalities. None have occurred in San Jose before on record, and there are 2 of them this year on the Guadalupe River Trail, both in underpasses. And in this case, we're already working with the Parks Department on this to make improvements in these 2 locations. I'm now going to talk about the 6 priority action areas in the Vision Zero Action Plan and give updates in these areas since the plan was passed on February 11th, 2020. In the first area, which is build robust data analytics tools, we have been working with Verizon Smart Communities on a tool to look at near-miss crashes. And so you can see in one of the 3 intersections that we have in this image, we're able to see using cameras posted above the intersection where near misses involving a vehicle and a pedestrian occur. And so we can see in this intersection that the south part of the intersection, or rather south of the intersection, is where the heat map is indicating that a lot of these crashes occur. And this type of data, which we are developing anew with Verizon, is helping, basically helps us get the information that we would need to go and make improvements on an intersection. Now, this this P3 with Verizon is it's a great thing that we're able to do, but it really in this demonstration phase only involves 3 intersections. So that's where we are with that, and it's been a great opportunity to work with them. We've also been working on crash data visualization with our internal maps online. So this is one of 2 versions on the bottom right that we have available at vision0sj.org. And we've been working to make the interface clearer so that you can see where the crashes occur on the block when they're away from the intersection. We also are finishing up the process of working through the Startup in Residence program to do an RFP to hire a data analysis consultant to create a platform where we could bring all of these data types together. The Vision Zero Task Force had its first meeting on September 25, just recently. The task force is made up of 17 members, Chair, Councilmember Perales, Vice Chair, Councilmember Foley, 12 decision makers from city and county departments, as well as 3 local advocates who are California Walks, the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition, and AARP. We've also created 2 staff level working groups, which are themed as data and outreach. And they had their first joint kickoff meeting on the 11th of September. The next task force meeting, which is open to the public, will be on December 10th, which is a Thursday, and its theme will be outreach. I'm now going to hand it over to Lieutenant Anaya to talk to the points on this slide.
I'm sorry, Jesse, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So on this slide, we talk about our increase in traffic enforcement and what we're doing in the priority safety corridors. So traffic enforcement, or TEU, is trying to focus 80 to 90% of their enforcement time in the Vision Zero corridors, and had about just under 8,000 citations written in the corridors last year. Our on-street bike lanes and bicycle network, we saw an uptick last year with motorists and bicyclist fatalities. So we did a program where we went out and wrote citations, or did citations and or enforcement and education to motorists riding in the bike lanes. And we targeted primarily the downtown core and some of the neighboring areas to downtown. And in that mission, we wrote close to 300 citations for motorists driving in the bike lanes and not yielding properly to bicyclists during their travel. So another thing during the pandemic that we did was we transitioned more from an enforcement-based outlook, if you will, to issuing more warnings and conducting more education with the public. So we made close to the same number of stops, maybe a little bit less due to the pandemic, to keep our officers safe as well as the citizens safe. But at the same time, we issued a significant number of warnings during that time frame, and we utilized that as more of an enforcement. And I'm sorry, less of an enforcement and a little bit more of an educational piece for motorists, and that was from March to September. Bouncing on to our staffing plan and our progress there, we currently have 13 enforcement officers assigned to the unit, which is up 1 from where we were as of our last meeting. We just added an additional officer here in October, so that was a positive note. And then we have 1 lieutenant, 1 sergeant, 11 officers, and 3 special events team members for a grand total of 16 in the unit. So that's just a little bit of an update on our staffing here in TEU.
Thank you. Our 4th area is to increase community outreach. And so here you can see an image of our 20 is Plenty campaign, which was created by the EOC during the sort of beginning of the pandemic. It is had 2 printings so far and has been quite popular, and I believe we still have signs available. We are moving into, well, now that we have just moved back the clock for daylight savings time, we're moving into a campaign that we call Fight the Spike, but is basically in response to the increase in fatalities we tend to see at this time of year due to more darkness and less visibility. So we will be putting out these changeable message signs on the Vision Zero corridors over the next few months. And we will also be working with the police department to couple it with more enforcement at that same time. Additionally, I wanted to talk about our RFP to bring on a consultant to create a citywide strategy. The RFP is nearing completion, and so we're hoping to be publishing it in the near future. To talk a little bit about pivoting outreach strategies during the pandemic, we worked with California Walks as our consultant on a grant that ended at the end of September to do outreach that was to older adults, although I think anyone who works in outreach right now would know that that is challenging given the difficulty of not being able to do in-person outreach as we'd intended. So I think like anyone else doing outreach, we pivoted several times with Zoom to try and see if we could find other organizations to co-host. And in some cases we did, and we did continue going on with that work. We will also be continuing with the OTS funding that we received to do that grant next year. So we've just started the new round of that, and we will be looking for a consultant to do outreach again, except in the coming year, it will be themed, well, actually it will be to adults in general. So that is responding to our data, which indicates that the median ages of people who are killed in traffic fatalities are in their 50s, particularly people who are killed while walking or biking. So we will be working with those populations through that grant. Walk and Roll, which is funded by Measure B Education and Encouragement, works with K-12 age children and has also been pivoting in this context. We had already begun last summer to, actually no, this summer, we were working towards our first round of having teachers do a Train the Trainer program where similar to San Mateo County, where we bring teachers to learn about how they can teach their students about basically safe routes to schools and Walk and Roll. And we also have Walk and Roll staff who are working, basically doing this type of distance learning education, of appearing in teachers' Zoom classes and doing instruction about safe routes to schools directly with the school classes. I'd like to talk a bit about our quick build safety projects, which is area 5 of the action plan. Here you can see one of our first quick build Vision Zero projects, which was completed in September 2020. This is in the Guadalupe, Washington neighborhood of District 3, where we had interest in pedestrian safety projects. And so we analyzed our data to find the locations where there were the most pedestrian related injuries that we could work on through quick build. And at these 3 intersections, Willow and South Almaden Avenue, Vine Street and West Virginia Street, and Martha and Oak and South First Street, we have put in this new quick build type of project that is known as a left turn calming or a hardened center line in crashes that involve left turning vehicles that would conflict with pedestrians who are crossing on the green in the crosswalk that conflicts with the movement, the left turn movement. This hardened center line, basically putting low profile and vertical delineators on the double yellow line, slows the turn and increases the visibility of the pedestrian who's in the conflict zone. So these 3 intersections cost $40,000 to build, which is also a good price for something at 3 intersections. And so you can see the before and after here of Willow and South Almaden. And we did on-site surveys afterwards to hear people's feedback, and it's been very, very positive and encouraging. And we also spoke to the principal of the Washington Elementary School, and we were on Zooms before and after. So that's been a very good experience so far. We also did a quick build project at the intersection of Felon Avenue and Roberts Avenue outside Yerba Buena High School. You can see here in the bottom right image that there was a big open intersection, and by putting in markings here and a new 50-foot long crosswalk, that we're able to make the space in the street a bit more, well, first off, just easier to use and compact. That basically makes people's movements in the streets slower and increases the visibility of pedestrians, and also creates a refuge area for pedestrians. So this cost $20,000 and was funded by District 7 traffic safety funds. So getting into the quick build projects that are scheduled with anticipated completion by June 2021. This is a list of projects that will be funded with Vision Zero funding to do these large corridor implementations. The first of which is Center Road, and just the others on the list are Fruitdale Avenue, Story Road in Jackson, Guadalupe River Trail. I mentioned the 2 underpasses where we're doing cycling improvements, and an intersection project at Silver Creek Road and Daniel Maloney Drive. And also on this image, you can see a picture of a sign that we're using that we're posting on corridors that will be seeing work that says what's happening here, and has a description, a little description of the project in 3 languages. I also wanted to highlight some grants that we've received since the Vision Zero Action Plan passed. And so 2 grants of note. One is the Transportation Fund for Clean Air for Hillside Avenue in District 9. And the other one is the new type of active transportation program funding called Quick Build. It's the first year that they're doing a Quick Build pot. And this is a very competitive grant generally. So it's exciting that we received this grant for outside Edenville Elementary and Sylvandale Middle School. And this one was developed working with Project Hope. So in summary, we have given the update on Vision Zero and talked about the 2020 fatalities trending a bit high this year, despite lower traffic volumes. We've made progress on data analytics and outreach, and we talked about the quick build projects that we've started so far and their positive feedback. And so that is it.
Thank you. Before we turn to my colleagues, let's take public comment.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I hope we can all work to openly acknowledge exactly how much surveillance technology and Vision Zero neighborhood safety technology is now being placed in all of the new 4G and 5G sites within local community neighborhoods. This is a process being helped sponsored by the federal government in this time of COVID-19. I hope we can all consider, for as much as we may need this technology, it is open public policy practices that may be the true measure of how to define our local democracy and the ideas of community sustainability. At this time, I feel we need to openly acknowledge and often publicly announce that it will take some patience and interpretation skills how to transfer previous years of routinely lower KSI numbers and statistics to the new, better formulas and practices that can include equity. As new, better formulas and practices will skew former previous years of KSI statistics into sounding like we now have surprisingly higher KSI numbers. This is my feeling on the matter. I will look to good-minded government staff who try to note and try to discern these current issues when speaking in public. It is with this, I hope you will want to consider how open, honest, straightforward public policy ideas can very much help add and be a good companion to the future of the Vision Zero process, and that good democratic practices and open public policy ideas can work towards the ideas of peace, community harmony, and positive long-term community sustainability. These are something of the goals of what Vision Zero neighborhood safety is set out to accomplish, and of course, in how to emulate the range and depth of choices that Guadalajara, Mexico, and Vancouver, Canada have created with some of their own original ideas of Vision Zero. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Next is Nikita Sinha.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Nikita Sinha. I'm the Walk San Jose Program Manager with California Walks. I want to say thank you first to staff for their hard work on Vision Zero and for the presentation today. Last December, after 2 weeks of almost daily fatalities, I wrote to you to ask that you put measures in place for a rapid response to traffic fatalities. This would mean that DOT could apply quick build strategies for immediate infrastructure improvements at the location of every fatality to ensure that nobody would be hurt there again. Today, I'm asking again that you direct staff to build a rapid response strategy into the newly established quick build team. Using paint and plastic bollards for short-term measures to give space to pedestrians and bicyclists not only aligns with the goals of this Vision Zero action plan, but also slows down speeds at locations that we know to be fatally dangerous. I also wanted to comment today to invite you to participate in World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims on November 15th. In San Jose on the 15th, we will remember and honor the 248 lives lost on San Jose streets since 2016. We invite you to join us and participate that day. And thank you for your leadership on this matter.
Thank you. John Cordes.
Thank you. My name is John Cordes, and I'm the Santa Clara County Advocate for Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. We're an advocacy organization focused on promoting bicycling for all people, for all purposes. I want to thank you for the opportunity to comment today. I also want to thank you for allowing us to be part of the Vision Zero Task Force. We really appreciate the opportunity to be engaged in developing these new plans as we move forward, trying to figure out how to make San Jose a safer place to live. I want to second the comment just made by Nikita on rapid response for fatalities. We think it's important to the community to demonstrate that you care about the people being killed on our streets by doing something in response to these events. A rapid response team would be great. We'd also like to do more memorialization of people that are being hurt and killed. You know, we've done signs that we'd like the city to hang around the town where people have been killed and injured, so people realize where the dangerous parts of the city are. Another issue we've been brought up is that we find a lot of the San Jose Police Department press releases to be problematic in the way that they word them. There tends to be a lot of victim blaming and kind of implying that the bicyclist or pedestrian is at fault because of their behavior. And they're also not being equally worded in the fact that they say like a vehicle hit a pedestrian instead of a motorist hit a pedestrian. So it's not comparing a person to a person. It's making it like this vehicle is some inanimate object that's hurting another person. We also want to highlight again that because of equity reasons, we don't think that traffic enforcement should be a long-term strategy for implementing Vision Zero. You're much better off with infrastructure solutions that are there going to work 24/7 instead of relying on the few hours that a police officer can possibly be available to try and enforce traffic regulations. So we'd like to see a lot more focus on how you're going to design safer streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Turning to my colleagues, Councilmember Perales.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, staff, for the presentation as well. Couple questions. So I'll start off with Lieutenant Anaya. Appreciate that we've had at least one increase there within TEU. And then based on the report, it looks like you'll be coming to PISFIS. And are you coming to the next PISFIS meeting on, I guess as you describe, with some findings on some comparisons to other departments and their TEU?
I'd unmute there. So yes, we're just doing some research now on other department sizes of their traffic enforcement units, and also looking at their deployment models and when they deploy. I know there's been a big push here to look at deployment after hours on a swing shift type scenario, as well as weekends. Those are also things that we're looking into, and then we're looking at how we can or when we can potentially increase the size of the unit. So as you know, Councilman, that we had a significantly larger unit years ago that depleted down to a very, very minimal skeletal type staff, and then we started that rebuilding process last year. And so we're seeing that we're building incrementally as best we can. with the numbers that we have on the department, and quite frankly, with authorized staffing as low as it is still, it's difficult to prioritize, where we're going to put those bodies, and ultimately the chief makes the decision on that. But certainly we know that traffic enforcement is one of the most important things in the city, and it's important to the citizens and for the safety of the motorists and our traveling public. So, we're doing the best we can to up staff, as seen by the commitment from Chief Randall, just making an additional ad recently that was an unanticipated ad in October. So we're doing the best we can. I will be at PSFIS with Chief Tyndall to discuss some of these things. He may be there, I may be there. I'm not positive which one of us is going to do it, but likelihood of Chief Tyndall being there is great, so he can maybe address it from a little bit more of a global approach from the department, as well as where priorities are and whatnot. So yes, we will have an update. I guess the long answer to that for you is yes, we will have an update for you at PSFIS on where we're at with staffing and how increases look and the timeliness of that.
Okay, and then you didn't mention in the report there in regards to our current fiscal situation that we're in right now. Was there, it looks obviously there was no impact. It looks like you added a TEU officer, but is there any indication that you may potentially have some cuts, or has that not been the case?
I don't foresee any cuts to TEU coming. At least that's been the conversation that I've had with Chief Tyndall regarding that. I know that we have a downturn. We have a significant number of retirements coming up, and they've been pretty committed to leaving us where we're at. So it is certainly my push to keep the numbers up where they're at and then continue to grow as we can, as we see fit.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Absolutely.
And then in regards to, and I know this was pretty quickly because we just had our task force meeting, but one of the things that we talked about was the potential for multi-agency data sharing. And so then maybe it's for Jesse. Just wanted to see if there have been any follow-up or some traction in regards to that commitment.
There hasn't been any new progress on that just yet. I think that because we are at the moment moving towards the next meeting, which is themed on outreach, that we haven't made too much data progress yet. But when we do the next task force meeting, which will be themed on data, I hope that we, that my hope is that we can spend more time on that.
Okay, thank you. And obviously let me know how I can assist there, certainly, and through the task force in my role as chair. Hopefully we can see some traction on that. And then lastly, in regards to the quick build projects, you did mention the ones in Guadalupe, Washington. I know the community there has been really anxious. Are there further projects that are expected in that neighborhood as well, along kind of Vine Almaden, or was that it? Did you hit those ones first? Because I know it looks like the projects are targeted for June of next year, correct? And so I was just kind of, I didn't know if those were included or if there were more.
Perhaps I don't know that there's, unless it's a separate project, which there may be separate projects, I may defer to others on from DOT to answer that question.
Yeah, Councilmember John Risso, Director of Transportation. For the ones that you saw out on the presentation that's out there, that's it for us right now. Recall though that we've got a very big grant that's coming through on the from Story Keys. It's going to be in the Graham area and really physically redo with concrete that whole area through there all the way over to First Street and beyond. So that's a little bit longer because it's a larger project, but the quick build, that's it, what you're seeing out there right now.
Okay, and then are we still on track for our target of June of 2021 for the remainder of the quick build projects?
I believe so, unless one of my staff says no, but I think we're still on track for those.
That is correct. Yes, we are currently on track.
Okay, great. Thank you. Those are my questions. I'll make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have more questions? I just have one question, and it's for Lieutenant Anaya. Can you explain a little bit more about why the focus was on warnings as opposed to citations during the pandemic?
Absolutely. So when our officers make a vehicle stop, and specifically in traffic enforcement, but also in the patrol division, they have to have a close interaction with that driver. And so what happens is they are sharing not only typically a citation book, but a pen, if they're just using a traditional citation and that's made out of paper. And there's that close contact with interaction where they're handing back and forth a driver's license and registration and proof of insurance and all those things that go along with issuing a citation. And then transition over to the traffic enforcement unit where we use an electronic device, somewhat similar to an iPad, where you would be handing that device to the violator and you're going back and forth again with a stylus and all the documentation that they're utilizing to identify themselves. And so it created an issue for us where we were looking at not only safety for the officers, but safety of the general public and exchanging all of these items back and forth. So we transitioned more to an environment where we said, hey, look, we're not going to not do anything. We're not going to be in these priority safety corridors to be present and create that visual deterrent. But we're also going to still make the stops. We can make a contact from 6 feet away, from maybe a passenger window, or somewhere where we can get to a position to where we're not right next to the driver or making direct contact with him or her. So it was a safety issue essentially for the violator and for the officers who were doing their work. And so what we've done lately, as of late, when the county protocol for COVID transitioned back into a little bit more contact and a little bit more opening, if you will, throughout the county, we transitioned back into a little bit more of a normality in issuing citations. But again, we're on a little bit slower pace because after every single contact, there's a sterilization factor of all the equipment and all those things. So, we're running at probably a half speed, I guess would probably be the best way to put it, with giving the officers more time to make sure that they're safe and safe for themselves and, again, safe for the traveling public here in the city.
Thank you. That's very helpful. It kind of pinged for me because we see that the fatalities are kind of in line with what we've had for the last 5 years. And I had hoped and kind of expected them to be lower because more people are at home and staying in their neighborhoods, and we haven't seen that. So when I saw that the enforcement had changed, I wondered if that was one of the reasons why. Jesse, do you have a sense of the 41 traffic fatalities that we have had this year? Is it more pedestrian fatalities as opposed to other fatalities? Is it more than other years in a different type other than the 2 bicycle ones that you had mentioned?
So the thing that I would say about fatalities this year is that, and this is happening in other cities too, is that because there's less volume on the road, there's less congestion on the road, there's higher speeds on the road. Yeah. And so that's the sort of cross-city trend. A lot of cities are even seeing their numbers higher than usual. And so that's dispiriting. The percentage of by mode I can get for you in a moment. I need to go look it up on another presentation on my screen.
Yeah, no
Madam Chair, I actually have those numbers if you're interested. So with the 41 fatalities, 16 were auto, 5 bicyclists, 2 motorcyclists, and 18 pedestrians. So almost 50%, closer to 50% were pedestrian.
Okay.
One of the interesting things this year, and Jesse mentioned it briefly, was all of or a good portion of these are solo vehicle accidents. And what we attribute that to is people traveling on a little bit more of an empty roadway typically, and they're gaining these speeds and they're traveling at these speeds that the roadways are not designated for, and they're losing control of their vehicle. And we've had several where people have hit trees this year, just a solo vehicle accident. I know we've had them at commute time at 9 o'clock in the morning, at 7:15 in the morning, and typically we'll see those associated to more of a DUI type scenario in the late or early morning hours. We're seeing those more at commute hours, which is a little bit troubling. It's just a different phenomenon that we've seen in years past. So I think that, the more open roadways, yes, there's less people out there, but you also counteract that with people just driving faster and a little bit more unsafe. And I'll be honest, I saw it just with myself driving into work in my personal vehicle, and people going by you on Highway 101 at 100 miles an hour was not uncommon. And so I think that's what a lot of us are seeing are those type of accidents that we don't typically get in the past. We're actually seeing those now. So if that's sheds any light on it.
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. And it really makes the case for, as one of the speakers, the public speakers mentioned, it really makes the case for engineering the roads differently to help with those speeds, regardless of what the volume is. So that's helpful. Thank you for that. If there are no other comments or questions from the committee, clerk, will you call the roll for the vote?
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Dieppe,
Aye.
Peralez,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item D2 on the regional stormwater. Carrie?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you some of the developments that we're seeing in the reshaping of our stormwater permit. As you may recall, this permit is incredibly important to our local environment and to our community to ensure that our waterways remain safe and viable assets for our community. Today I'm joined by Jeff Sinclair. Jeff is a senior environmental program manager leading this effort for the department and for supporting the other departments throughout the city. And then introducing Rajni Nair. Rajni is a new deputy director in ESD leading our watershed division. So I imagine she'll have more to say the next time we're at the committee. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Rajni, you left the data team? This is news to me. All right. I'll let you guys move on.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. I'm sharing my screen now, so you should see the first slide of my presentation. As she mentioned, I'll be presenting on the municipal regional stormwater permit today. But first, I'm going to start with a bit of context with where our water goes. Indoor activities like toilet flushing and wastewater activities go into our sanitary sewer system, which are then conveyed into our wastewater treatment facility, where the water is treated before it's released into the bay. Now, with outdoor activities, which is generally what the stormwater permit covers, outdoor activities like car washing, irrigation, rainwater, those go into a separate system that is just intended for stormwater. And that system conveys that water to our creeks and rivers, which then bring it out to the bay. San Jose is very unique. We have a large amount of creeks and rivers. We have 26 distinct creeks. We have about 140 miles of waterways that largely are in natural conditions and provide habitat for both flora and fauna native to California. And as we've learned, they also provide refuge for the community, which nature has become very much that for us during this time. And unfortunately, San Jose's creeks are impaired. They've been degraded by water quality issues because when rainwater falls and hits the ground, it can do a number of things. It can infiltrate, it can evaporate, and then it can also run off. And generally this occurs over impervious surfaces like parking lots or roadways. And when it does this, it picks up pollutants like oils and grease, trash and pesticides, and it carries those into the creeks, and it can degrade the condition and impair the water quality of these creeks that are such vital assets. So there are regulations in place as a result of this degradation. The Federal Clean Water Act requires that states operate under a national pollutant discharge elimination system, which California administers over 9 different regions. San Jose falls in the San Francisco Bay Regional Permit. And this permit is a citywide permit that is basically delegated to different departments. The ownerships of our operations are delegated to those different departments because this permit requires that the city implement policies and procedures that reduce pollution in stormwater runoff before we're allowed to discharge into that creek. So this, as I mentioned, impacts many different city departments and operations. It's a 5-year permit term that's coming to an end. The current term is coming to an end in January. But the Water Board is going to administratively extend that until they issue their next permit. And right now they're working on developing that. And as a result, we're learning that there are going to be many different changes that are intended to further enhance our work towards improving our creeks and preventing further degradation of those creeks. However, it will come with additional efforts for the city. And I'll go through those today, some of their proposed changes. Starting with our new and redevelopment provision that also covers green stormwater infrastructure. So this provision basically regulates new and redevelopment that creates or replaces a certain amount of impervious surface. Under the current permit, if a new project creates or replaces 10,000 square feet or more of impervious surface, that property, like a commercial or municipal or multifamily dwelling, must implement a treatment measure. And you can see a couple of examples on the right. There's pervious pavers in the parking spots, and then also our Chenoweth Avenue Green Street project, there's a bioretention there. So these are implemented at 10,000 square feet, but in the next permits, Water Board staff are proposing that they reduce that threshold to 5,000 square feet in order to capture more impervious area and more properties that aren't already contributing to the improvement of our creeks. Single-family homes are currently exempt unless they're part of a larger development, a multi-family home development. But in the next permit term, they're trying to target larger homes that create or replace 10,000 square feet or more of impervious surface. And so those homes would essentially be regulated similar to the other project types I described and would have to include treatment on their property as well. Roadway projects are currently regulated under the permit, but as you can see on the screen, they're only required to include treatment if they create or replace 10,000 square feet or more and add a new lane of travel. Water Board staff are essentially going to simplify this and say all projects that are triggering an acre would be required to include green stormwater infrastructure. It's not clear what type of impact this will have just yet on the city's efforts, but we don't think it'll be that much based on feedback from Department of Transportation of Public Works. With this current permit, the Water Board required a green stormwater infrastructure plan be developed, which we did and it was approved last September by council. Now, that plan is intended to describe how we will implement green stormwater infrastructure moving forward citywide, but Water Board want additional assurance that this will happen. So they are proposing to include targets for GSI implementation, so actual construction of these devices. We're expecting that we'll be able to meet their targets because Public Works is working on a large project at the River Oaks pump station that will capture close to 300 acres of runoff. C10 is our trash load reduction provision. And this is something that requires the city to basically work towards getting 100% full trash capture from our storm sewer system. And under this current permit term, that due date was 2022. However, as you can see on the screen, they're proposing to shift that back to 2025 and then create an interim date of 90% by 2022. We've been able to meet our current targets by, and actually exceed them, the 80% requirement by 2019, by implementing large trash capture devices as pictured on the right there, implementing bag bans for source control credits, as well as our direct discharge program and additional creek and shoreline cleanups. With the next permit term, they're proposing to phase out those credits and offset programs. So that will result in about a 35% reduction of the current credits that we get. So this will require the city to do a considerable amount more work to get to that 2025 due date. And it's not just going to be the city that's required to implement full trash capture, but also private lands, larger private lands starting at 10,000 square feet. They like that number. I'm not just repeating it a lot. And so those properties will have to implement similar measures as the cities, like operational activities and actual structural controls. Our provision C12 addresses a pollutant of concern, which is polychlorinated biphenyls, or commonly known as PCBs. These are existing in unhealthy quantities in our bay currently. And the primary pathway that we've identified in the Bay Area is through stormwater. It's carried from existing properties. These PCBs were largely used in sealants for buildings and other activities. And so we have certain targets that we have to meet. We can do so through different control measures. Structural control measures, like large trash capture devices and green stormwater infrastructure, can capture those PCBs and treat them. Programmatic activities like street sweeping and inland cleaning, as well as referring source properties where we know PCBs are leaving and entering the storm sewer system, referring those to the water board so that they can work towards abating those properties. However, there are areas that do not have sources identified with PCBs, and water board are proposing that we also address those in the next permit term, in addition to the already efforts that we have to meet to reach our targets. Whenever we have dispersed pollutants, it becomes very challenging to address. Another programmatic activity that can be challenging is the building and demolition program, whereas right now we just track and report those properties that have identified PCBs in their building materials. In the next permit term, water board staff are proposing that we also inspect those properties to ensure that there's proper disposal of those materials containing PCBs. And this will likely add additional efforts for our inspection programs. Water board staff are also considering 2 new sets of requirements related to cost reporting and water quality impacts from unhoused individuals. Cost reporting is still very unclear what level of detail will be required, both from the water board, from what they've conveyed to us, and then permittees as well are unclear. And so the permittees under this permit are proposing that more time be given in the next permit term to allow us to develop a framework that would outline the methodology, set expectations, and then provide a region-wide consistent guidance for collecting this data and reporting it. Water board also recognized that there are water quality impacts, or there can be water quality impacts from unhoused individuals, perhaps living in RVs or encampments along our creeks. And so they want to get a better understanding of what those impacts are and what the extent of the issue is. And to do that, they're proposing that we track and report homeless data, but then also share with them what efforts and steps we're taking to address the issue, particularly through our interdepartmental coordination, but also externally with our collaboration with external groups. There may also be some water quality monitoring involved with the next permit to identify what pollutants can be attributed to these areas, and then potentially some subsequent control measures. All of the proposed changes that I presented to you in these previous slides are tentative, and they are very much proposed. So nothing has been finalized yet. So there are some next steps, though, to work towards that. And on the screen is a tentative permit reissuance schedule. And tentative is the key word. They've been shifting the schedule quite a bit, but this is its current form. Later this month, water board staff expect to release an administrative draft of the stormwater permit. This will provide the city with an opportunity to provide written comment as well as continue to meet with water board staff until April of 2021, where they're expecting to release the tentative order, which is the official permit document. We will be given another opportunity to provide written comment before the water board adoption, which they have tentatively scheduled for October of 2021. There will also be an opportunity to provide in-person or virtual comment at the water board hearing. Traditionally, this permits become effective in January, preceding the adoption. However, they've shifted back the date to align with the fiscal year. And due to delays, they've shifted back an entire year. So originally they planned to make the permit effective in July 2021. As you can see on the screen now, they have shifted that back to July 2022. So there's a fair amount of time between now and then before this will take effect. And that's my update.
Thank you, Jeff, for the presentation. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak on this item? Don't see anyone raising their hand. And for the members of the committee, Councilmember Perales?
I apologize. I think that was up from the last time. I don't have any questions on this, but I'll move to accept the report.
Great.
Second.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. The phasing out the programs on the trash load reduction, one of them was direct discharge creek cleanup. Does that mean, what does that mean exactly? That means we would, I don't understand the whole credit issue.
So, Councilmember, I'll start, and then Jeff can add a bit more detail. It doesn't mean that we would necessarily stop performing those activities, but it means that the water board won't count them towards permit compliance. So that is a pretty significant change for us, as we believe those activities have very material value on improving the quality of our waterways. Unfortunately, at this point, the state wants to move away from those.
Okay. And then that question and kind of goes along with the new requirement about trying to understand the impacts of the unhoused on the waterways. What would be helpful for me is, to what extent is this stormwater permit just for the city, or does Valley Water also have a stormwater permit, and do we share in the same permit? How does that work?
So the permit is, the city is a permittee, and so we are responsible for our lands, and the water district is responsible for their lands. And then regionally, we all sort of collaborate together, but we all are all held to the same standard. Jeff, could you maybe talk a little bit about the nuance between property owned by Valley Water, property owned by Caltrans, property owned by the railroad, or a private property owner?
Yeah, so the city generally addresses our creek cleanups and direct discharge programming on our properties. However, we have had agreements and collaboration with these other property owners. Caltrans has responsibilities under their respective permit to do this work as well. Valley Water also has responsibility, but not as much from the trash side, because those trash reduction credits are largely based on population numbers. So they establish those reductions based on that.
So Jeff, specifically with the unhoused, how would, if there's unhoused on Valley Water property versus city property, is there a difference in how the state views those?
No, there's no difference. It's basically any impact to the creeks is an impact to the water of the state. And so they look at them all kind of one and the same.
And they're all attributed to the city as opposed to
no. So they're held for the water district properties. They're kind of accountable for the activities and subsequent discharges from their properties. And then the city is responsible for the same on our own properties. Clearly, we try and collaborate because they're generally along the waterways and there's some efficiencies, but the city is not responsible for activities that occur on Valley Water property.
Carrie, if I could add one, private properties in the city, then does that flow through us as a city? So we have our city property and then private properties and not these other agency, or is private property separate as well?
And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, private property owners are responsible for their own properties and then the city is responsible to enforce?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess the final question I have is on the proposed changes to the infrastructure, like for multifamily or single family homes, municipal. Do the projects have to be proximate or on the site?
Jeff, go ahead.
Okay, so the treatment is generally done on site. There are options in the permit that allow for off-site treatment, so like an equivalent type treatment. We really don't see that though. So generally they're all done on site.
Okay. The reason I was wondering was because of the roadway projects.
Right, so that option is available in the permit. So if a roadway project in one location, didn't have the space, then that treatment could be provided elsewhere as long as it would meet equivalent water quality goals and treatment area.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions. Councilmember Perales, your hand is still up. Is it still up from the last time? I just want to make sure I didn't miss it and you had a question as we were talking.
I'm sorry. I thought I hit lower hand. Now it'll leave.
Okay. I thought maybe it was lowered and I missed it. I didn't want to step on you. Oh, I think we're ready for the clerk to call the roll. Tony?
Esparza?
Yes.
Arenas?
Yes.
Diep?
Aye.
Perales?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to open forum. And we have a couple of speakers. Blair?
Hi, thank you. The initial that's not where I want to start. With the arrival of COVID-19, the Vision Zero side of neighborhood safety, technology, and surveillance is obviously in a place to make a sharp turn into a corporate government surveillance state we all fear, compared to what Vision Zero is intended to be. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of open, transparent public policy ideas and practices, and the open sharing of ideas, and the simple love of good community democratic practices at this time. I feel all of this can help define a more genuine, positive sustainability ideas of peace and harmony of a local community. I think it can help us move through these next few difficult years and into our future. It is good open democratic practices and open policies that can leave continual war hype and its shock doctrine practices, and that will more naturally want to work towards minimal use practices of needed technology in our communities. Thanks, good luck on this issue. Good luck in how we work as a community during the time of election. And we're all going for some concepts of unity, I hope. I don't know how you want to use the word and term, but I hope we can have a form of working together and being together at this time. And other than that, good luck to everyone and see you at tomorrow's City Council. Thanks for the meeting today.
Thank you. Josh? Josh Quigley.
Sorry, can you hear me now? All right.
Yes.
On behalf of Save the Bay, I'd like to raise an issue that's not on today's agenda, but does relate to much of what's been discussed today, and that is the city's urgent need to begin taking real action to adapt to the impacts of climate change through the adoption of an urban greening plan. San Jose has shown great leadership, and we recognize that on climate mitigation with the adoption of Climate Smart San Jose. And that plan will make significant strides in reducing greenhouse gases and promoting energy and resource efficiency. But that plan also explicitly states that adaptation strategies are topics for future consideration. And unfortunately, we run out of time to punt the issue of climate adaptation to some future date. Climate impacts are real, they're significant, and they're already here. We've seen the devastation of more frequent and intense wildfires, droughts, intense urban heat in cities, and compromised air quality. And we know that these trends will continue, and they're going to be compounded by sea level rise and inland flooding. San Jose needs to invest in adaptation strategies now, and nature-based solutions like urban greening, including green streets and urban tree canopy, are essential because of the multiple climate adaptation benefits that they provide, along with the enhancements that they make to water quality and the way that they complement the work that the city is undertaking to make streets safer for pedestrians and bicyclists. Now more than ever, it's apparent that people need safe, comfortable outdoor spaces in their neighborhoods. San Jose's current green infrastructure plan focuses almost entirely on underground regional stormwater projects that, while important to meet water quality obligations, provide few additional climate adaptation benefits. We also recognize that the COVID pandemic has created new challenges for the city budget and staff, but it also highlights the need for government to plan for looming crises in advance. I'd like to thank Council Members Davis and Perales for working with the Mayor's Office and us last year to direct staff to undertake an initial outreach and planning process for urban greening. I do want to also point out that a report back from those efforts, specifically by the Environmental Services staff, was due to this committee in June, but we have yet to see that. So I'd like to put this issue back on your radar and ask the committee to prioritize this and work to make San Jose a leader in climate adaptation by committing to a coordinated approach to expand urban greening citywide. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, did you want to speak to the timeline?
Yes, council member. As you recall, all of our committee meetings in the spring were canceled, and we issued an information report on that. It's probably something that we would put on the spring work plan for the upcoming period of time, the February to June timeframe. That's what I'd anticipate.
Thank you. All right, with that, our meeting is adjourned.